Okay, we had the new parts come through from the factory. We'll get them on the car ahead of FP1.
Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 150 today for the Chinese Grand Prix in Season 8. If you guys did miss the previous one, the Bahrain Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. Quite an exciting race there with a lot of fighting with the Ferrari team, and maybe some more to come for this episode. But we have 5 upgrades now coming to this weekend. We've got 3 aerodynamic upgrades and 2 chassis side upgrades, so hopefully making a big step forward on the performance chart. Visually speaking, we are now making a big leap and bound ahead now of McLaren and Toro Rosso. Now we're finally actually in the realm of Ferrari and Mercedes on paper, but of course in reality, you've seen in the last 2 episodes, the first 2 rounds of this season, our car has kind of already been there where Ferrari and Mercedes have been, so I'm confident we can actually maybe try and, take a proper fight to Ferrari and Merc and kind of comfortably be there rather than just about managing to do that maybe. China though is going to be difficult, obviously a lot of tyre wear, and in previous seasons may have been easier with the tyre wear upgrades on the car, but obviously that got reset into this season, so the one-stop strategy onto mediums is still going to be a possibility, because remember we did it all the way back in Season 1, but it is going to be a little bit more difficult as it has been compared to the previous few seasons when we've done it, but nevertheless we'll probably try that most likely in the race. But before we get to that, obviously you have to do the job in qualifying then, so we go for our first flying lap. It's an okay lap up into P6 there. By the time we get through to our second run though, we're down to P10, and so we do need to find a decent amount of time. So we found a little bit of time in Sector 1, but then I kind of lost it all in the brake zone into Sector 2, and I'm having to get it back now in the S section here, so this might not be a heap of time found, but enough maybe to see us up the grid order. At the moment, Leclerc has out-qualified me at the moment. I believe he's around in P7, P8 as we go through the last corner, a bit wayward, but across the line, and we do match Leclerc, thankfully, and so we join him right up there in P7 and P8, so happy with that to, again, match my teammate, so promising signs already that myself and Leclerc well matched this season. He dropped off a little bit at the end of last season, so this season it's good to see that we're kind of level pegging very much so, and you can see clearly we're right in the middle of the 2 Ferraris, Vettel and Ocon there, so I think we might have a good chance of another Ferrari scrap this episode, but I don't know, depending on how the one-stop could go in terms of getting track position, let's see, and cross our fingers, maybe we can try and attack that other Mercedes car, and even maybe a Red Bull or Renault, you never know, but I feel like Renault and Red Bull are going to be very strong, obviously, still in this third round. But let's go to the grid then, and just see how we do at the Shanghai circuit.
Ever since the Sauber of Felipe Massa passed Jenson Button into Turn 1 at the very first Chinese Grand Prix in 2004, Shanghai has consistently provided close racing and extraordinary memories. It's where Lewis Hamilton effectively lost the title in his rookie year, and it's where Nico Rosberg claimed Mercedes' first win of the modern era in 2012. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14.
And so with that, let's have a look at the starting grid ahead. This Chinese Grand Prix for Season 8 of my F1 2018 career mode. Surprise, surprise, it's another front row lockout for Renault, who are looking very dominant indeed this season. Fernando Alonso, the man on fire and form so far, with 2 wins on the trot on pole position. Hamilton in second place. Gasly in third with Carlos Sainz in P4. Nico Hülkenberg in P5 with Sebastian Vettel P6. It's all then Alfa Romeo on the next row, with it's been Ocon in P9 and Max Verstappen around the top 10. Sorokin and Dan Ricciardo next with Van Dorn and Brendan Hartley, so a nice Toro Rosso McLaren pattern with Magnussen and Sergio Perez next. Romain Grosjean and Valtteri Bottas on the second last row. The last row reserved all for the Williams guys of Kimi Raikkonen and Lance Stroll. Right, so here we are on the grid, and talking about the strategy then, like I mentioned before, we're trying to use that usual one-stop here at Shanghai, where it's the ultra-soft tyres to the mediums, but as you can clearly see, since the tyre wear obviously got reset, we've got, a few, we've got the ultimate and then the minor tyre wear upgrade already on the tree, but we're missing a few others on that tyre wear side, so you can see, actually physically, we can't actually do a one-stop, like on the actual strategy indicator, but nevertheless, I'm going to try that bodge job there and just kind of not use that soft tyre stint right at the end there, that little 2-lap stint or whatever. I'm going to try and go right to the end on mediums. It's worked so many times here at Shanghai, it's got to be the way to go, to be honest. So here we go then to 5 red lights to the Chinese Grand Prix. Round number 3 of Season 8 is underway, and it is an initially good start from us. A lot of wheel spin there for the Red Bull on the right-hand side. Vettel gets a good getaway into turn 1. Leclerc looks down the inside. We're going to have a look around the outside there, nearly going off circuit, dipping a left tyre onto the green stuff there as we go around the outside of Vettel, trying to force our way down to the inside. Vettel squeezes us onto the curb and grass there. come on, man, I was completely side by side with you, and you just pushed me off, and so we're right tucked up behind Vettel, and Leclerc, look at that, him go, he's right up my chuff as well, and so we make a big dive to the inside there, really late lunge, lock up on the front right, go really deep and try and squeeze Vettel right to the edge, just like he did to me in turn 2, pretty much repaying the favour as we go down around the outside, and we're going to get that position. Leclerc is now having a look there, he might go down the inside, yes he does, so the camera cuts away unfortunately there, but yeah, there you go, see Leclerc round the outside of the double right-hander now of Sebastian Vettel. Meanwhile, still Fernando Alonso that leads the way from Hamilton. Then you've got Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz, and then Nico Hülkenberg, myself, and then Vettel has stayed put there in P7. We're up to P6, of course. We now move on towards lap number 5, so not much happened in the next three or four laps, apart from now we go across the line. We're up into P5 as one of the Red Bull cars has pit. Obviously, the Ultras don't go very far, and if you're doing a 2-stop, pretty much you're going to start pitting around lap 4 or lap 5 there, as now we move on one lap later, and Leclerc down the inside of Vettel with a nice move there, DRS assisted, of course, into turn 1 and 2. So having to do some work there as Vettel gets his nose in there and actually keeps it in there, so fair play to Sebastian, but Leclerc hopefully will get that. It seems like we have a bit more race pace than the Ferrari car, and Leclerc does manage to get it then eventually as we go to the end of sector 1, and even the Mercedes car now, Verstappen, is trying to go around the outside of Vettel, so maybe Vettel's got some tyre wear issues maybe on those Ultras. He now has to defend against the Dutchman there, but now we move on. Sector 3, Leclerc catching us a little bit here, and my tyre wear is kicking in a little bit, and Leclerc is feeling pretty damn fast, and I'm pretty sure Leclerc is going to try a 2-stop, I would assume, because he's on a default strategy as all the AI are, and so I'm going to bump it down to low and lean mixture here on the main straight, and just kind of let him pass on purpose, just to kind of give him a little bit of space. Maybe he might be coming in straight away on this lap, but either way, at the moment, just chilling out, trying to save some fuel, save some ERS for this next lap, because on this very next lap I'm going to pit, so I need to really push very hard on this next one. So just conserving the car a little bit, letting Leclerc through, that's all fine. You know, it'll come, you know, I believe in karma, so he'll come back to repay me hopefully later on if he can do some defending for me whilst I'm out there with track position. So he comes in straight away actually, so like I said, in hindsight maybe it didn't matter too much, but there you go, hey ho, always nice to be nice to the teammate as we go across the line now into P3, P2 in fact there, as obviously everyone on the top flight is making their pit stops. Eventually we are going to come in now for our first and last pit stop in this Grand Prix, remember. So on to mediums. It's a long way to the end of the Grand Prix, but you know, we've done it pretty much every single season so far on this game. It is the best strategy because the track position around Shanghai is just so good, and also you know, the other tyres, they perform well, but not enough to kind of warrant not going on the mediums to the end of the Grand Prix, at least for us as a player. So we come in now for the medium tyres. Let's see where we come out there. To be pretty close with Leclerc, but obviously if he's on a 2-stop, I don't really mind if he's out ahead of me. He'll actually maybe help me out in that kind of regard. So here we come now into turn 1. There goes Leclerc, just outside, and he's up into P13. We're P14. Obviously, a fair few people in this Grand Prix yet to make their first pit stop, because I assume they started on the soft tyres, of course. So we're going to make our way through now, and like I said, it's not too much of a worry Leclerc's ahead of me, because he is on a 2-stop, clearly, because he's on soft tyres. So I'm fine for him to be ahead of me, and honestly, like I said, he's going to help us out a little bit, because basically I'll try and follow him through as we make these passes. So working as a bit of a team tandem kind of thing, and overtake these guys with DRS. They're actually getting a bit of a toe off him, so we have a look around the outside. We're going to take it nice and easy into the hairpin, go a little bit wide, not on purpose actually, I will admit, just got a little bit too deep and late on the brakes. That's fine, and we remain in that position. And now look at this, we're catching up to 2 cars here, so can we make a move? I think the Mercedes car is up ahead of Hülkenberg, so he'll also be getting through this traffic. I wonder if he's on a 2-stop as well, we'll have to see. But down this straight there you go, Hülkenberg's made the move. Leclerc now makes a move down the inside, lock up for the other Force India of Sergio Perez. This is, take it nice and easy, try and cut back for a tighter exit here on the second last corner into the last one. I couldn't have a look around the outside, unfortunately. Perez squeezes me out, so we take it nice and patiently. We're literally pushing him now through the last corner. Literally, I was an inch away from actually physically making contact with him at the gearbox. But now here we go into turn 1, DRS open down the inside, just about get that through, as it's very fine margins from his front wing to my left rear tyre. But we're through, and now we're going to follow on Leclerc, Hülkenberg next, and also you got the Haas of I can't tell which one it is, but a Haas going slowly on soft tyres, I think that is. So he's obviously trying to 1-stop, but a bit of an alternative 1-stop. So he might hold us up quite a fair bit, because look at that actually, yeah, Hülkenberg got held up a little bit, so there might be a chance for me and Leclerc maybe to overtake Hülkenberg in this as well, and not just the Haas car. So we'll wait patiently for this slingshot then onto the back straight. Here we go now, all of us are going to have DRS here on this straight, so this might be a little bit fine here with the Haas getting out of the way on the left hand side. I think Hülkenberg is already past him, but there goes Leclerc to overtake the Haas and then also try the move on the left-hand side on the outside of Hulkenberg there. We go down the inside, meanwhile, of Magnussen in the Haas there. So Leclerc attempting the two-man overtake, and he might just do it into the last corner. There he goes to the inside, squeezes out Hulkenberg. He's going to slow him right down. So here we go now on the exit of the last corner. Swoop to the left, overtake mode engaged, DRS open, Rich Mix going, Hulkenberg, oh my god, squeezed us right to the end of the grass, mate. Really fine margins round the outside, though, of turn 1. Still have to do some work, though, into turn 2. It's going to be very close. Don't want to get squeezed out like we did with Vettel earlier on in the Grand Prix, so we really cut across him there to kind of get the elbows out, and we're up into P9. Leclerc, P8. Very nice sequence of that straightened corners there. Leclerc, though, really showing once again he's not lost the overtaking prowess he showed at the end of last season there with a double move that was, over to the Haas. I didn't really expect him to go around the outside of Hulkenberg then and make that move with the hairpin, but now we come through onto lap 15 and we're actually closing up on Leclerc now. We're within DRS. Obviously he's got no one ahead of him to give him DRS, and so we might be able to overtake him now. Of course, at this point in the race, probably his tyres are starting to wear out, so it's probably natural that my tyres now are technically faster than his, even though they're soft versus medium tyres. So down the inside, a little bit close as we go down to neutral by mistake there, so really trying to slow it down. We really went late on the brakes, but we're up into P4 now. Of course, we were P9 and P8, but obviously finally people shuffled out and made their pit stops there. So obviously Hulkenberg was in that kind of region, so that's why we're up in P4. So now we go across the line on lap 17, and now you've finally got the second stops for people. Alonso has made his stop. He's out ahead of us there. Hamilton yet to make his pit stop, so we're P3, Alonso P2, Hamilton out in P1 yet to make his stop. So we will be in a net P2 position perhaps, because Hamilton, I think he was a bit further back from Alonso than I was right there. And this is confirmation now into turn 1, the very next lap. There we go, into turn 1, and there is Hamilton in P3 then. So it's looking likely, that Alonso is going to get 3 wins on the trot here, which is going to be worrying for the championship, because that's a pretty dominant start there, 3 wins in a row. And I'm surprised at that, really, because I would have thought Hamilton would have taken the fight to him. And, obviously he got very unlucky in the first race, because he would have had that win if it wasn't for the mechanical issue. But meanwhile, we've got Leclerc, who's made his second stop. He's now behind the McLaren car of Ricciardo. We're going to have to make that overtake work now on the back straight. DRS open, going to be a pretty easy pass. And now let's see if we can maybe make any kind of inroad on the cars ahead, but I doubt it, because obviously the cars ahead are the Red Bull Honda cars and Hamilton, of course. And speaking about Hamilton, as we move on now, only about 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Hamilton closing up to me now. He's going to have a good chance with DRS on his back straight. So we go a little bit wide with a bit of a just lack of grip as the medium tyres are starting to wear just a tad here, and especially through the long corners you can feel it a little bit in mid-apex there. But Hamilton's going to make a dive on the outside there. We're nice and easy on the brakes. We don't want to do exactly what he just did and lock up horrendously, but he's got the grip. You can tell just mid-corner and acceleration, he's got that better grip on those fresher soft tyres. So he dives into the last corner. We brake early to make a beautiful little switchback move. That's a textbook switchback to get back into second place. Hamilton, though, pulls once again the left-hand side. That Renault has the advantage in a straight line, I feel, as well, but we just about hold it into turn 1. But he's going to have a good chance on the exit of this next left-hander. The acceleration is going to be so good for him, I can just tell. Let alone anyway, usually against AI, my acceleration is pretty poor on this corner, let alone on fresher tyres for Hamilton. So here he goes now. I'm going to go defensive to the inside there, let him go to the outside line. He can do that all he wants, because I'm going to squeeze him out there on the right-hander, just like I did to Vettel, but he actually has the nose in there, and he is actually just about ahead, so this might not work. We're going to have to hang it on the outside there. This is going to be very audacious. A little bit of contact made on the front left tyre to his rear right there, but we still stuck it in there. We found some grip there, and we cut across to the apex there, park the car, and we remain in P2. So this is some big defending right now. We're defending for our lives to try and keep this P2 in this position, and we've still got 8 laps to go in this Grand Prix, so this is going to have to be some mighty long defending here as Hamilton gets the position. But crucially, obviously, we have now got DRS, so I kind of purposely slowed down a little bit. Didn't mind letting me through here, because now on this back straight I can get him back here with DRS. So a bit of a wily old fox move, really, just let me through on purpose. That's fine. So here we go now, closing up. We're a little bit under-fueled, you can see on the bottom right, so we need to watch out for that, because also behind us you would have seen Gasly is closing up, and also at some point you would imagine Sainz will also close up, because it looks like we're so much slower than these guys. But I'm trying to do the best job I can to maintain this track position, but at some point I need to also think about saving fuel. So this is going to be a bit of a tricky end to the Grand Prix as we maintain the position on Hamilton. There is Gasly in the background there, but for now we remain in P2, defending to the inside once again on Hamilton. Hamilton right alongside us, so we're going to have to really jostle for this and try and force him wide a little bit. In doing so, Gasly's going to get invited in, so it's nearly 3 wide. Look at that there, both proximity arrows red on either side of me there, so momentarily they're around the outside. And look at that Gasly with immense amount of grip there, nearly does me completely on the right-hand side. So surprised he came through. And now a bit of contact there as again it's a little bit personal between myself and Gasly. Of course, two championship rivals from last season there. And there's definitely a few little love taps here and there. No love lost between us two as we're now going to go to the inside. They're going to have to keep it round. Bit more contact there as it's really getting very hostile now. The elbows are fully out. Gasly really wants the position, but so do I. We're going to dive it to the inside. They're a bit harsh. Lock up on the left front. Bang tyres on the right-hand side. Gasly, though, has got the move, but we squeeze him out with a very nice move. They're inches away from actually making contact that time, but we didn't, alas, on that third one, and we keep it ahead. And by the time we get through to the last lap of the Grand Prix, then Carlos Sainz has got through up into P3. So unfortunately, I don't know when that actually happened, actually, so I don't have a replay of that, but he's overtaken both Gasly and Hamilton. And Hamilton's had to really back off there with some tyre, or I suspect maybe even, I don't know if he got in some wars with Gasly or Sainz, I'm not too sure. We close up to the lap car then of the Williams will give us DRS over to the end of the Grand Prix, but it's going to be Fernando Alonso, like I said, on the top left. That's the fast lap of the Grand Prix on the last lap and wins the Chinese Grand Prix. 3 wins on the trot for Fernando Alonso in the Renault. Such a dominant start, full 75 points, the maximum he could have hoped for at the start of the season. That is pretty scary for not only me, but anyone wanting to maybe challenge in the championship. Obviously, we're far away from thinking about the championship for now, but right now, this is going to be a very good finish. We're just ahead of Carlos Sainz. He has a look on the outside, actually, the last corner there. On the last corner, he locks up and so doesn't get P2. We're going to get P2. It's going to be a fabulous podium there, a hard-fought one as well.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top drawer to take the win for Renault. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
So a mega scrap for P2, and yeah, it did get a little bit, hot and bothered and personal, and a bit, a bit erratic with myself and Gasly, but desperate to get that podium, and we got it in the end. P2, Carlos Sainz in P3. Leclerc gets up into P6 in the end, so that's best of the rest pretty much on that 2-stop there. So Leclerc does well. Obviously, what would have been if he did a 1-stop as well? We could have been right up there maybe, and he could have helped me out as well. We could have helped each other out defending, really. But there you go, Fernando Alonso with a massive lead now in the championship, and Carlos Sainz, actually the other Spaniard, Fernando's old teammate, gets up into P2 in the Red Bull Honda. So that's going to be a little bit interesting to see if Carlos Sainz maybe can try and be the one to chase after Fernando Alonso, the two former Renault teammates there from last season. For ourselves in the team, in the constructors, we're P3 still. Renault, though, looking pretty damn dominant there in first place, with Red Bull in second. Mercedes ahead of Ferrari, and Toro Rosso actually surprisingly ahead of McLaren so far. But all in all, can't complain. We're making steady progress, and I feel eventually we can get this car to winning ways for both me and Leclerc. It's just about patience, really, and getting these R&D points spent, of course. But a good episode for us here at China. Did the maximum we could have hoped for, really. Second place, maybe, I don't know. I don't really think there's any scenario we could have got first place there, because obviously also I think Fernando would have just been too quick. He was on fire that episode, and has obviously been on fire the first 3 episodes. But guys, if you did enjoy that episode, be sure to smash the like button. Before we go now, obviously R&D going to continue on to purchase upgrades here, and so we're going to have a nice amount of upgrades for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix from the chassis side and the aero side. They're going to upgrade things like the DRS and also the front and rear downforce, and the chassis side looking again at some tyre wear and weight redistribution. But obviously we can only do 3 upgrades at a time, so we've already got 1 going, so we're going to do 2 more on the chassis side of things. But still, that's going to be a good amount of upgrades coming for next episode. So Baku, you never know. It's obviously, we well know it's a very hectic Grand Prix, so here's hoping we can have some more chaos on Baku and we could luck into a good result there. But again, like I said, guys, if you did enjoy this episode, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know your thought in the comments below. If you're on around, subscribe for weekly F1 content. I'm aarava. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.